G'day, Steeler Nation. Welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia. Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers have hired a new coach. We have breaking news. Now. It's not Mike Tomlin hasn't been fired and they haven't hired a head coach. Matt Canada hasn't been fired and they haven't hired a new offensive coordinator. However, they have hired a new offensive assistant coach, right? Steelers hire a new coach in Glenn Thomas. You're probably wondering, who's Glenn Thomas? Well, let's find out. This is according to or from the Steelers website, Steelers.com. The Steelers hired Glenn Thomas as their team's offensive assistant coach. First of all, it's good to see the Steelers continue their ways by bringing new people into the organization. I love that, by the way. New blokes into the organization. Thomas brings 20 plus years of coaching to the Steelers on the NFL. On the NFL? I should be in the NFL. Thomas brings 20 plus years of coaching to the Steelers in the NFL and collegiate levels combined. Thomas spent the 2022 season as the offensive coordinator at Arizona State. Also, stick around the next minute or so. I have an interview from Arizona State to find out more about Glenn Thomas. Right. Prior to his stint at Arizona, he was offensive coordinator / quarterbacks coach for 2 seasons at ULV, and then goes on to say, Thomas spent 3 years as co-offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, Baylor University, throwing 69 touchdowns in 3 seasons. And then it goes on to lastly say, in addition to his wealth of college experience, Thomas also coached in the NFL. He was the Atlanta Falcons quarterback coach for 3 years after spending time as an offensive assistant with the team, right? So he was their quarterbacks coach and also an offensive assistant. Now you go back to the Atlanta Falcons from 2008 to 2014. You had Matt Ryan, Tony Gonzalez. Who were some other dudes in there? You had Michael Turner, Michael Jenkins, Roddy White, right? From 2008, they went 11-5. 2009, they went 9-7 under Mike Smith as well. In 2010, they went 13-3. This was back when the Falcons were a pretty good team. They scored a lot of points. So it's very encouraging to see a coach from the Falcons who could score points back in the day. So they went 10-6 at 2011, and 2012 they went 13-3. So Glenn Thomas was a part of that organization while it all happened. Now, I did promise you a video from Arizona, right? This is from the press conference from Arizona, but there's a few things I want to pinpoint and talk about at the end of this video. So let's play the video, and in 3, 2, 1, and roll tape. Here's Glenn Thomas talking about. He's asked the question. He's talking about what schemes will he implement into Arizona last year. But we can use this information when he might use this for the Steelers in 2023. Let's have a look.
And Cole Topham's Devil's Digest. If you were to describe your scheme to the average ASU fan, what would it be?
Well, I've used this term, I've used this answer before, and it's a little cliche, but I think you have to play to your personnel grouping. You know, I've been fortunate in my career to play in a spread style. I've been obviously in the pro style system. I've been in a heavy personnel grouping, so I think you can play to your personnel. So, and I think we have a unique skill set here from a personnel standpoint that we can play to a little bit of both, right? Like we can play to a 22 personnel where you're getting a fullback, 2 tight ends, and then you can be in a 12 personnel where you're in 2 tight ends, or we have enough receivers and enough guys on the perimeter that we can now spread it out. So I think that from a defensive perspective gives those guys a lot of different looks and, you know, creates some more advantages hopefully on our end.
And specifically 12 personnel with those tight ends and the amount of athleticism you have at that position on your roster, what advantages does that create for the offense and simultaneously the disadvantages it creates for the defense?
Well, I think it all starts to the run game, as you mentioned the run game earlier. I think it all starts from that. You know, you start putting 2 tight ends in the game, not only do you create blocking surfaces and more gaps that the defense has to account for, but now all of a sudden now they're involved in safeties. Right now they're in an 8-man spacing, which, you know, you play the game of safeties. Now, do we take a shot over the top? You know, do we account for safeties in the run game? You know, it just creates that much more variety that you can do on offense.
Now, this bloke, Glenn Thomas, might be the perfect fit for the Steelers. There are a few things here that I want to cover before I end the video. And before I end the video, guys, make sure you hit that like, hit that sub, right? In that little snippet there from last year in 2022 from Arizona, he talks about using 22 personnel. He also talks about using 2 tight end sets and a fullback. What do the Pittsburgh Steelers have? They got Fryermuth, now Gentry. They have Connor Haywood. They haven't re-signed Derek Watt yet, but I'm not too worried. They have Connor Haywood. They could use a halfback and also as a fullback role. In that 22 personnel set, 2 tight ends. You have Fryermuth, you have Zach Gentry who signed the 1-year deal. We just brought in Isaac Siamalo. We also got the LaRaven Clark, swing tackle, Nate Herbig. He talks about also how he wants to establish the run last year in Arizona, and that was more or less his scheme. This to me seems fantastic, but I'll be very honest. I don't know who this guy is, but just by doing a bit of research the last 5 minutes, looking up Glenn Thomas, it looks like that he wants to get involved in 2 tight end sets, fullbacks, and establish the run to them to bring in play action and then take shots deep over to get the big splash plays to Pickens and Deontay Johnson and stuff like that. Maybe getting Calvin Austin in the mix. Now, one last thing before we end the video. To me, this is a good signing too to bring another guy in to help Matt Canada. We all complained and we're all pissed off last year that Matt Canada just couldn't get anything done. Everything was just normal, stagnant, just chop by chop play, run, pass, run, pass. At least now bringing the guy who's got 20 years experience in the college level and also with the Falcons back in the day with Matt Ryan, and they had a really good offense from 2008 to 2012, right? And he also played with or coached with Tony Gonzalez, right, the former Chief. This seems to me like a very good signing. Anyways, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Is it too early? Do you even know who this guy is? Do you care? Do you not care? I know it's really late here in Australia, and it's really early in America right now. I believe it's your Thursday? It's your Wednesday, but I think this is cool. I do like this. I do like this pickup. I like the fact there's a few things. I like the fact that he talks about the run. He talks about getting involved players in big splash plays. He talks about using the personnel, not just calling certain plays, but actually whatever personnel they have for the offense, that is a Fryermuth, that is Pickens, is trying to get them involved, right? Anyways, guys, that's it. The Pittsburgh Steelers have hired a new coach in Glenn Thomas, offensive assistant coach, probably to help out Matt Canada. And we all know that Matt Canada needs a little bit of assistance. This is a very good signing. From my instant reaction, it's a very good signing. Anyways, guys, thank you for checking out Steeler Nation Australia, and I'll see you guys next time.